Okay. Okay. Well, it's nice to be with you. I was reminiscing today that just a couple of years ago I was in your spot getting ready to do my student teaching. Actually, it's been more like 25, but who's counting, right? But I know it's a very exciting time for all of you. It's certainly a wonderful opportunity. Certainly encourage you to take advantage of it. Learn all that you can in preparation for the real world that you're about to embark on. I also have been a building level administrator for 15 years. I currently teach in Ed Admin Department School of Law. And so what I've done today is put together some of the key issues related to school law that you need to be aware of as you go out into the schools. And the way that we're going to facilitate this process this morning, I'd like for you just to go through the handout right now. This is a true-false exercise. I'd like for you here in the next 5 to 10 minutes go through and let's see how much you know about school law, and then what we'll do is we'll go through and we'll talk about each of these. So you've got 5 or 10 minutes to go through, mark these true false, and then we'll get back together. Okay, another couple of seconds, and we're going to go ahead and get started and go through these answers. We're going to go through the answers here, and then we'll go back and open it up for discussion. There are some that I would like to touch on specifically to make sure that we're able to cover it in the time that we have allotted. So why don't we just go through? We'll flip through. Number 1 is true. 2 is true. 3 is true. 4 and 5 are true. Okay. Next. Again, all are true. Okay. Then 11 through 14 are true. 15 is false. Okay. Okay. That is true false at the top. 16. 17 true false. 18 could be true or false. 19 and 20 are true. It means that there will be further discussion. Yes. You're exactly right. It means maybe. That's right. Okay. Next. Okay. And then the top one should be, let's see, that says, that's true false. It's true with a little asterisk. Let's put a little asterisk by that because we're going to talk about that one, okay? 22 is true, true. 24 and 25 are both true, okay? I guess it'd help if I looked on. All right, 37. Or 26, rather. True, 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 false. False with an asterisk, false with an asterisk on 30. Okay? All right. False, just put false. Yes, I'm going to be covering these, so. Okay. Are we ready for the next slide? Oh, okay. 34, IEP is the acronym for? Very good. And LRE stands for? Absolutely. Okay. And we'll talk about the significance in a little bit. Okay. False, true, 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 true. False, and then all true. Okay, next. And let's see, that last one is true. Okay, 42 is true. And you notice that as an attorney, I've put my disclaimer here at the bottom, okay? that this is not intended to be legal advice. This is merely informational. And if you have questions about these types of issues, the person you need to contact is a mentor teacher. If you've got a mentor teacher first, your principal. If you're a member of an association, there's some resources there, or a school attorney. Okay? Or you can call EIU and ask for John Dively, and I'll try to help you if I can. All right? Okay, so let's go back. Yeah. Okay. Back to number 1. Let's see what we've asterisked here. Okay. All right, number 1 is very important. New teachers should familiarize themselves with the following: board policies, the collective bargaining agreement, the faculty handbook. There's a little thing up here that you need to get put on. And the student discipline handbook. This is, there you go. Okay. These are the policies that run your school. All right. So a good bit of advice is one of the first things you want to do is get a hold of your faculty handbook and your student discipline handbook. Now the board policies, those are generally kept over at the central office, but many times they are online these days. So if you had cause to, you might want to look at that if you had a question about how something should be handled. And then, of course, all of those are subject to your collective bargaining agreement. And so you want to make sure that you are familiar with that as well. Okay? Teachers cannot be required to dispense medication. This is another one that I've asterisked because it's one I want to point out. And that is true. However, practice is that in many school districts, teachers do dispense medication. Okay? If you are required to do that, you want to make sure that you're extremely cautious. Okay? As a new, non-tenured teacher, I guess I wouldn't advise breaking out the school code the first day and handing it to your principal and saying, wait a minute, according to the school code, I don't have to dispense medication as you're requiring. What I would do, though, is make sure that you're following, just some common sense principles, that the kid is getting it when he's supposed to get it, the dosage that he's supposed to get, etc., because there are some liability concerns there for you. So on the one hand, there's the legal answer, and on the other end, there's the practical answer, in that even though you're not required to by law, you may be asked to dispense medication. That ought to be something that's done by the administrator if there's no school nurse or somebody else other than you. Yes?
If this is a student with an IEP that absolutely legally needs this medicine, are we then moving down to dispense it if there is no school nurse or someone else to do it?
The answer in the school code says no, you're not legally required. But is that common practice throughout the state of Illinois? Yes, it is. Okay? All right, let's go to the next one. And then we'll come back and we'll get the ones that I don't cover initially. You'll have a chance to ask questions about those and on any other topics. Okay. Number 10. A teacher is the object of sexual harassment on the job should follow the district's policy for reporting such misconduct. Of course, you should follow the district's policy for doing so. Each district is supposed to have a contact person that you're supposed to let know. Why did I asterisk this? It's because there are some preliminary steps that you would want to go through first before you went immediately and filed a formal complaint. Okay? The first thing that you should do is, if you have somebody that's making unwanted sexual advances towards you, you ought to tell them to stop. I'm uncomfortable with this. I'm not interested. Okay? If that doesn't take care of the problem, then I would recommend that you go to a mentor teacher, somebody that you know and trust, and say, look, here's my problem. What do I do to resolve this? I've told this guy, 3 or 4 times now that I'm not really interested, and he persists. Okay? And then get some advice from that person. And that might be able to take care of it. Maybe somebody would go and talk to him and get that resolved. Okay? And then the next step would be I'd go to my principal and let my principal know, look, this is going on, and give him or her an opportunity to resolve the problem. I would do those things before I went to the formal procedures, would be my advice. Okay? All right, next one.